if you want to replay, then you can always go back and do that as well. So I'm going to, let me exit and stop sharing my screen, because I did have one poll question for you on today, and I'm going to launch it, give you a few minutes to answer it, and then shoot it back to me, because this will let me know kind of how this presentation will go. So you'll see the poll question, hopefully, and if you can answer, that would be very helpful. Okay, I'll give you a few more minutes. All right, and I'm going to end the poll. Okay, and share the results. So it looks like you guys, most of you are fairly new to the NOF application, which means that I will take you as thoroughly as possible through it as it relates to the application, and also trying to fill out or answer some of the questions that you may see in this application. So we're gonna go through that process. I will be using my PowerPoint so that you'll be able to kind of see from my PowerPoint in our slideshow. So I'm going to pull that back up again and advance my screen, hopefully. Okay. And for those that don't know who I am, my name is Tamora Hughes. I'm the program director at the Greater Englewood CDC. And also we have our advisors, Rhea Steele and Raymond Bacon, with the Illinois Small Business Development Center, that also assist with the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund application, and as you know, answering questions and things like that. So we're glad to be a part of the City of Chicago Business Affairs and Consumer Fund program to be able to support as it relates to the NOF. We have been providing this support from when it first initiated, and assisting individuals with this funding opportunity. Over the years, it has changed. So we definitely want to take you through, especially if you have not been through this application before. The city will also be having a kind of overview of the application, so that you can kind of see the purpose and the reason, and I'll talk about a bit of that today as well. But this presentation is really designed more from a proposal standpoint to help direct your thoughts on your ideas or your projects, but also to assist you in thinking about what some of the potential opportunities for you to actually be awarded based upon just past evidence of that. I would suggest that if you have not already, go to the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund website and look on that website to see who's been awarded before. Gives you kind of a bigger view of potentially some of the target audiences so that you can kind of see if you fall within that realm or not. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and kind of advance as I advance my screen. Wanted to introduce ourselves, the Greater Englewood Community Development Corporation, where our mission is to help rebrand, reveal, and revitalize the Greater Englewood community, as well as surrounding communities. We do work with other community neighbors and working in collaboration with our residents within the community and also our key stakeholders. And so we do that through our workshops, our business workshops, and our workforce workshops and events, and just assisting with anything related to real estate initiatives. And so this kind of falls within our realm, especially with the real estate initiatives, because at one time we were involved with a retail Thrive Zone that the city had launched for a few years. And we were active in that to help individuals identify properties and things like that, as well as to kind of give some guidance. And so we're going to kind of go through this presentation. We are a Illinois Small Business Development Center as well, where we do free coaching, advising to small businesses and assist them through the process in their steps. Just for purposes of this virtual and that we're recording, if you have questions, just raise your hand or put it in the chat so that we can capture and answer those as much as possible. So the purpose of this presentation is to take you through the proposal process. And again, you can see the guidelines on www.neighborhoodopportunityfund.com. And if you then have any questions or need to contact NOF in the city, then you can actually email them at nof@cityofchicago.org. So I'm going to take you through some screenshots so that you'll be able to kind of identify and remember when the application opens up, that you'll be able to kind of go through the process and have some of these screens. Now the screens may be slightly different. I don't think that the application has changed much, but at least it gives you an idea of when you actually go online. So we want to be able to help you and assist you. So I am a part of a nonprofit organization. So we are not part of the city. We are actually considered a community agency in partnership with the city, but we are a nonprofit organization in Englewood that then support our Englewood community and our neighboring communities. So we are not part of the city as it relates to someone being kind of working with the city. We are actually a partnership as a support agency with business affairs and consumer protection. So that's what we do with the business advising and that kind of thing, as well as supporting the NOF. Okay, so when you look and you're able to actually get into the application, you might be able to go to the website now just to kind of do a search. The first thing that they will ask, or what you need to see if you qualify or not, is to be able to put in your project address, which means that where is the building? It has to be a commercial building. It cannot be residential. It has to be commercial building registered as a commercial building. So when you put in the address, this address will then give you an opportunity to be able to see if you qualify for these areas in these zones that have been laid out, which is the eligible commercial corridor, the priority investment corridor, and the Invest Southwest corridor. So you will see that on that website. So I suggest that you actually go to the website so that you'll see there is a guideline paper that's in there that you can download, that you're able to get more detailed information. And also, again, the city Neighborhood Opportunity Fund and Summer Corps will do a presentation in detail as it relates to what those particular categories in those corridors are. So if you need more detail related to that, I would suggest that you go to the website to get that information. Again, our goal today is to actually take you through the proposal part, so that as you go through and you're actually filling out the application, you know that hopefully you're putting in information that's going to be helpful in potentially winning or getting awarded the proposal. So that's the first thing. So if you have not identified a property yet, that's one of the main things that you need to do, is to identify an address of a commercial building, so that then once you identify that address and you come and you search, then you can see if that address is eligible or not. Okay. So you want to make sure you do that right away. And in fact, when you start filling out the application, if it's not eligible, then you know, there's some steps that you will have to go, but you must be eligible or in the priority or in the Invest Southwest to get this funding that that is made available. So the corridors, as I was sharing, in order to be considered for NOF assistance, these are projects that are located throughout the city that have been developed by Department of Planning that are considered QIA or qualified investment areas. And so when identifying this, the small projects for the NOF, you must then look to do a search to see if you're eligible for it. Also designated eligible commercial corridors and priority investment corridors are as well a part of this, and the Invest Southwest corridors are also given consideration during the application process. So as you're going through, again, just make sure that you fall within these corridors. And I'm just kind of briefly going over this because a lot of this actually pulled from the website so that you understand how they operate. So your eligible corridors, these are commercial street corridors, public street corridors that allows the retail or commercials underlying the zoning of B or C zoning of these properties, and that the city has identified the streets that show high concentration of business and traffic as well as public transit ridership. So those are eligible corridors that there's a lot of flow and commercial flow, where potentially your business would be able to now share and be able to operate on that corridor to generate revenue, because the whole purpose of the NOF is to build economic development in corridors that normally or in the past have not had that opportunity. And so this is a way to be able to revive some of these retail and commercial buildings that are not active, to be able to activate them with small business owners that can utilize the space, and to be able to then build this economic regeneration in these community corridors. The same thing is for the priority corridors. There are some priority corridors that have been established in particular areas. And I know specifically, like in the Englewood community, that is a priority corridor where there needs to be some redevelopment and that kind of thing happening within the city, within those neighborhoods. Also, the Invest Southwest is kind of like a combo because it's also additional money to be able to reactivate these neighborhoods that do not have this economic flow, but yet can demonstrate activity within that community, and now to help that neighborhood, help that community, and be able to revive the community. So that's what they're looking for. As far as being an eligible applicant, you must be a new or an existing business owner, or a property owner or landlord of a commercial property, or you can also be a nonprofit organization. And so that in itself just really states what position you can make a decision in, that you can actually begin to run your business. Important thing to remember, that even if you are a new or an existing business owner, or a property owner or landlord, or whatever the case may be, the business model that you plan on doing should be accessible to the public. So I've had a few individuals that, was more of an office space. It was kind of more secluded, schedule only. And so some of those applications did not actually pass through because it's not necessarily accessible to the public unless through a schedule or something like that, compared to a coffee shop, a restaurant, where people can just kind of walk in and out, and your business then generates revenue because of public access. So those are some things that you might want to think about right now, so that you can kind of make a determination if the business or whatever you want to apply for the application is really helping the redevelopment of a commercial corridor or commercial space that everybody can get to. And so you want to kind of consider that and consider these opportunities. So I kind of posted a few things that also are on the website. So that means your grocery stores, any kind of retail establishments, restaurants, museums, small music performing, because they're open to the public. People can come in, access the service that they need from you, pay for a ticket, a fee, or whatever the case may be, that's generating that revenue. Now, some of the social services, like a daycare center and things like that, as well as workforce programs, are not eligible for the NOF. And again, the reason is because just like with a daycare center, it is not really open to the public. You have a group of youth or children that have registered that come in, so nobody else is coming in off the street to then utilize that service. You've already kind of isolated or created your environment, so there's no necessarily revenue on a daily basis that is actually happening. So that makes it kind of different, as you know, and what the NOF has identified is not eligible. So when you're filling out an application, you want to make sure that you are identifying a business that is eligible, so that then you don't have to worry about your application being denied and that kind of thing. So those are the kind of things that you want to look at. Housing is not eligible. So that is, again, it's secluded. It's, you know, people are filling out a lease or whatever the case may be, or housing is, so there's no public place where people are coming in and out, paying money, doing that kind of thing. So that kind of gives you an idea of then the type of businesses that they're looking for. So the next screen that you'll possibly see, they're asking you these prep questions before you actually get to the application. So they want to make sure that you're the potentially right candidate. So they ask these questions for you to kind of fill out and answer. And based upon your answer, you're going to either get a congratulations, or either you're going to get something that says, okay, reach out to one of our agencies within the city, advising agencies to prep for the next go round. So you're going to see that. So some of the questions maybe, you know, what type of business do you operate? So it's a drop down menu you'll be able to see. And then it'll also ask what type of business are you operating or plan to operate? And you'll be able to see a drop down menu for that. If you pass these eligibility questions, then it'll let you know if your project is eligible to participate, and then it will now take you into another screen so that you can start your project assessment. So you're still not in the application, you're just going through the assessment part, because they want to drill down to really see who you are and what you do. So you'll get some questions as it relates to just the general, your name, your last name, your email, your phone number, and so forth. Turner, unmute yourself, ask your question.
Good afternoon. I was wondering, yeah, somebody just asked the same question. Like, are you able to apply for like mixed use properties, like commercial and residential? like if you want to do like a workforce type of place and then provide housing for people who don't have housing in the process of doing the workforce?
No, so the workforce part wouldn't work, and definitely the housing won't work. So say for instance, you have a 2-story building, and on the bottom level is commercial, and you're able to do commercial public access activities, then the NOF would cover that part, but it would not cover the housing, the top part. So that's the reason why, even like with workforce, unless you're actually selling something for workforce, you have a project or products or something related that people can come in, buy it, and leave, then that would be a potential. But it's only supporting retail and commercial activity, as well as kind of art galleries, things like that, where it's open to the public. I can come in, I buy a ticket, I can be able to do whatever, purchase art, whatever the case may be, or that I can come into your facility and I'm able to purchase books and items in a bookstore and all that. And I'm able to buy, because now I'm generating revenue. I'm also paying taxes, and I'm able to kind of generate some revenue that then flows back through the corridor because of the activity. So that's the goal. That's what they're looking for, is projects that you're able to really generate, you know, activity, but it does not support mixed use. So, you know, it's commercial, retail commercial on that bottom level. So what if you got a building and you got, you know, 3 floors, it'll support the bottom level and taking care of the infrastructure of the bottom level, but you would be responsible for the residential and the top level. Okay. All right. So here you want to fill out your profile information. All this is really basic. And once you do that, it'll ask you about your project cost. So they want to know that you've already thought about this, and that you kind of figured out what your dollars will look like. So you must understand how much the project's going to cost, so that you can figure out how much money you need. So they'll ask these questions. You know, yes, I know my total project cost. Then there's a no. I don't know my total project cost. I'm working on it. And then there's a no, I don't know my project cost. Now I'm going to give you kind of a nugget that as you're going through these pre-assessments, you want to indicate or do your homework before you answer this, because you want to have more yeses than you do kind of maybes and no's, because it may kick you out. They're looking for what they call shovel ready projects, or projects that within once you get awarded, within at least 6 months, you've already started some activity, so that you're ready to complete that project within a year or 2. So they looking for things that you're not still kind of figuring this thing out. They're looking for projects that you've already figured it out. You already know how much it costs. You already know the things that you're trying to do. And so, you know, you definitely want to make sure that you're ready for it. The as we go through this presentation, yes, the funding can be used as it relates to fixing up the infrastructure of the building, as well as some of the interior. And so I'm going to go through some of that as well, of what it will do and what it won't do. Okay. So when you're figuring out your project costs, you're going to have to figure out if, all your electrical, your engineering, your HVAC and all of that, if there's work that has to be done, you got to know how much it's going to cost to get it fixed. So that's the reason why you got to work on how much it's going to cost to then get this building or this infrastructure up and running. Okay. Then they want to know about your investment. So it's just like a bank. You want a loan, they ask you how much you can contribute or how much you're able to access in liquid dollars. So the same thing is with this, that for the NOF, they also want a percentage of, that's not covered by the grant. So they're wanting to be able to do that. If you have a question, raise your hand. If not, if you put your phone or your computer on mute, that would be very helpful so we don't have the background noise. Okay, so I gave you an example. So one is if your project is $100,000, once you figure out the project costs, you could then qualify for for the grant 75% towards that project cost. You would be then responsible for the remaining 25% or 25,000 of that dollar amount or that percentage. So it's asking you, do you have then dollars, liquid dollars that you can access to be able to contribute? And they're asking that up front, because if you don't, when you go through this pre-assessment, it may kick you out and say, okay, try again later, talk to an advisor and figure it out, and then try it again next year. So that's the reason why it's important that you kind of understand that, so that you're able to share that. So this question is really going to be able to assist you and kind of looking through and being able to let's see who's got their phone open or their computer open. Okay, so you want to be able to make sure that you're able to demonstrate that you can access some funding of that 25% for your project. It'll also ask you about your credit score, which is very important. And the reason they're asking for that is because when it comes to a project and you going through the process and you need to access dollars, you need to be able to know that your credit score or getting a microloan or a bank loan or something like that, that you're eligible enough to get those additional dollars that you might not have that you don't have right now. So it's important that as you're going through this process and you're looking at these questions, based upon what you state in this pre-assessment, is going to launch you in there, or it's going to tell you to come back, talk to an advisor, get ready for the next time. Okay, so just so that you're aware of that. All right. So the question then about the credit score, you'll see, they ask you the question, Are you under 600? Are you between 6, 7? You know, or so it's gauging you. And this pre-assessment is kind of scoring you. So if you don't meet the score, again, it's kind of gonna say, okay, you need to come back again a little later. Okay. So I kind of did this just to give you an idea as far as filling out a pre-assessment. If you have city debt, you need to take care of all of that before trying to apply. You will not be eligible to apply for this. If you do have any kind of debts, you'll need to take care of those, or take care of those, your payment plans, whatever the case may be, because that's going to also determine if you're going to actually get to the application. So you can't have any city debts and things like that. Excuse me. Site control. This is very important because this helps to determine if you actually own the property or if you're leasing the property. If you own the property, then you'll have to be able to show ownership and to be able to show paperwork that this property belongs to you, and you will upload that into the application. If you're leasing a property and you don't own it, then that means you have to engage the property owner in this process with some kind of LOI or lease agreement or something like that, that you'll be able to attach, but also that the property owner is saying, yes, I agree to you, or we in partnership to fix up this property and that kind of thing, because the property belongs to them and not to you. So my suggestion is, if you don't own the property, but you're going to get an award to fix up the property, that you have outside documentation, legal documentation with the owner, indicating in your lease or something that if you fix up the property, that there's some kind of statement or something legal that then indicates that after you fix it up, and then they try to push you out or in your lease or something. So you got to kind of work with your attorneys on that, just to make sure that doesn't happen. Then the contractor bids. It's important that if you're thinking about this, that you talk to some contractors or architects now, because it helps then when you start doing the project cost, helps with the assessment to help determine how much it's going to cost to actually fix this building up or the infrastructure. So you will need to be able to indicate at least that you've spoken to a contractor or an architect, or that you actually have some written bids. That's even better. So that then as you get through the application, then they'll be able to say, can I see your bids, so forth. So that's something to think about. And then your timeline. So as I said before, with this, with the NOFs, they're looking for kind of those shovel-ready projects, those projects that are ready to get lifted off the ground and to get the doors open, okay, right away. So that's what you got to start thinking about as it relates to the construction and your contractor and all of that, and also those to be approved by the city and Summer Corps. So they have all that information. Again, you go on the website because you can actually see who some of the approved contractors are, that you can look at them. But for this pre-assessment, you want to be able to say, yes, I can get started in 6 months. That's not to complete it, but at least get started to the point that once you get started, within a year, no more than 2 years, you're open. And it's really within that year that you're open and you're generating revenue, and you're able to now show a cash flow within that corridor that's actually building up these communities that have not been built up before. Okay. So once you get through that, it will take you through the process. It'll show you your results as it relates to the assessment and you answering the questions. It'll also give you information based upon what you stated. And as you go through, you know, you will go through this process, and it kind of gives you an idea that if it's something you didn't answer and it's kind of kicking you back out, you want to be able to know that you can try to get all this prepared now so that when you do the pre-assessment, you get approval. So once you go through that pre-assessment, you answer the questions, you get approval, then it'll actually then say that you've been approved. It's going to give you an applicant code. You want to keep that code, write it down somewhere, save it on your computer, whatever the case may be, because the code is what you'll use to keep going back. So you might not finish your application, but you'll need that code so that you can continue on with the application. Okay. So make sure you keep the code. Also, you can download your results as well. All right. So when you actually get into the application, again, this is an older screenshot. There may be some updates to this application, but it's kind of about the same. You're going to kind of create your account and be able to start putting in the information. And if you have problems, you can actually contact support at submittable.com, which is the platform, if you're having problems with putting in your information. So once you get it, you say, yes, I have a code. You will click on that. You click on the agreement, and then you will click on the button to apply. And then you're in the application. So a lot of this is going to be repeat in the beginning part, because it's asking for the address, is asking for your address, is asking for all the details, zip code, so forth. And then it's asking who's submitting this, you know, what your title is, what your role is. In this particular case, I did nonprofit, but you can also select then the other individuals based upon what fits you. You can upload then a photo, you know, of yourself if you want to do that. And they will utilize then that photo for then their promotional materials. So, you know, you don't have to, but it gives them opportunity to be able to utilize the photo. So as you're typing in the information, you're doing the business name. So it's very important that if you're a new business or startup or whatever, that you are registered with the Illinois Secretary of State, that you're also registered with the city with a license or something, if that's required. It's important that you are registered, okay? very, very important, because then it gives the opportunity to do a search on cyberdrive.com and search your company. So you want to make sure that you are a legal business name, okay? And then as you do that, then you start answering all the rest of the questions. You'll notice that it'll only give you like 250 words. I would suggest that you use a Word document or something like that. Type in your questions and your answers, and then you can highlight your answer and be able to see how many words you've added up to that 250. Because if you've gone over, you'll have to edit it because it won't take it all. So I would suggest using a Word document so that you don't accidentally, lose something. So you want to put that information in. 2.2 is really talking about how you're going to use a commercial space, what kind of activities will happen in that space. 2.3 is talking about describing your business and how it supports the corridor and supports the community, and that you have competitive advantage because there's not 50 of you on that same corridor and that same block. That when you talk about competitive advantage, it means that you're all not in the same cluster, or there's something very unique about you. So as you're going through this, you want to, in the proposal part, you want to kind of think about your answers and type them out, because it is competitive, meaning they're looking for your uniqueness. They're looking for the business and evidence that you have to know that you can generate this cash flow in this corridor. So you want to kind of go through that process and answer those questions. Yes, go right ahead, Bruce.
Can you see these questions? So like you say, you can work with them in a Word document, or, do you have to go through the application in order to see the questions?
Yeah, so I actually went through the application so I can pull up the questions. But once you get this, this recording, we'll send out the recording. This will give you an idea of what the questions are. And I don't think the questions have changed much. I might have someone that's on from the city. I think I saw somebody earlier, but these are pretty much the standard questions that are going to be there to help you prep.
Right. Also, are the questions identical or similar for both the regular NOF and the NOF large? These same questions are what needs to be a part of your submittal.
Yeah, so this is just for these questions are really specifically for the small projects. The large project is out there as well, but they both are going to expire, or the application will close out in September. So the large project, you're going to need more detail, even beyond what you're with the small project. The large project is almost kind of going to be like a project proposal. So it's going to, there's much more detail that's going to be required. And it's really going to, you putting forth with a large project, an actual full proposal about your project, how your project's going to work, all of your architectural and construction costs and all those details. Sure, your larger project's going to be different than just the small one. Because with that 250, if your project goes beyond that 250, then when you submit your proposal, that proposal has to go forth before city council. So that is, so there is a difference. You can kind of use the small as a base, but you're going to have to go into greater detail as it relates to your large projects, because you are producing a proposal that you're saying you need more than the 250, and you have to show evidence that the dollars that you'll receive as a large project is going to be able to then produce the numbers, and that you're able to then, with your large project, be able to enhance that quarter greatly, with that. So you can utilize these questions kind of as just a baseline, but with a large project, you're actually going to need to do a full proposal. You're also going to need to be able to vet that, talk to your community, talk to your aldermen, you're going to need to engage more conversation with your large projects and that kind of thing. And I think the funding goes up to about 2.5 mil or so with those large projects, so those large grants. But definitely you can utilize this as a start, as a base, but you're going to need a full proposal with the large projects.
Thank you. That's very, very helpful answer. And, it's also, well, that's just very, very helpful to get that insight. Thank you.
So when you're writing your proposal, and that's for either one, you need to be able to state where your project site is. You need to be able to indicate any details about that project site, what city it is, state, so forth. You're gonna be able to show what your preferred mailing address is. If it's your mailing address, meaning that you don't live at the project site, so you're gonna be able to put that information in of where you prefer to get notification and information. You will need to know your square footage of your project site. So that's why it's important that you talk to contractors and architects and all of that, so that you have that information, so that you're able to put that into this proposal. Then you're going to go into then answering kind of what was in the pre-assessment of who has site control. So if you have site control, then this application is going to require showing proof that you own or have owned the building, or whatever the case may be. Or if you're leasing it and someone else owns it, then you're going to need to be able to kind of produce a signed lease. You're going to have to show something, and then potentially have some kind of letter of intent from the person that owns the property, saying that they're supporting your initiative, and you'll be able to add that to your application. So as you go along, you're putting in, some of this is repetitive. You're putting in your legal name. You're putting in your activities of what you will be doing. Some things are not eligible, like we talked about, daycare, residential, workforce. Those things are not eligible. Okay, so you're putting in things that are eligible for primary use within this property. You're also indicating your business structure, so LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever case may be. And then it takes you into your budget and your financing. So this is why you need to be able to show, the cost, because there are some opportunities, what they call build community wealth bonuses, which you can go to the website. They have more detail about that, but also the city will be doing a presentation to talk about that in more detail, but if you want to go straight to the website, I suggest you do it. There's a guide on the website that you can actually go to and read that for clarity, okay? But there are some bonuses that you can add to your project, and I'm going to show those in the back end. The first thing is outlining your anticipated cost. So hard costs, that means your construction, your renovations, your mechanical, electrical, roofing, so forth. And then your soft costs is kind of like your architectural and engineering services, so forth. Okay, so and there are some dollars, potential dollars for acquisition. If you're purchasing the project and the property. But again, you're showing more that you're contributing more dollars to cover that acquisition, so that then the actual the award can cover more of the hard cost, soft cost. This does not cover administrative and anything like that, your internet, your Wi-Fi, your telephone. The grant won't cover that. That's something you have to cover. So those are not eligible costs that you can put in, okay? But once you start doing that and identifying those, you indicate then how much is it gonna cost, anticipated cost. Once you go through that, you can actually save a draft of this so that you can always go back. But remember that when you go back through the project, that you'll be able to put that code in. That's why I tell people to have the code and to be able to go back in and edit that, edit your whatever you're typing. I suggest that you do it in a Word document first, though, just in case there's some technology issues. And then, of course, if you have questions, you want us at Greater Englewood to review your application before you submit it, please do it in advance so we have time to go through it. You can actually print it as a hard copy or save it as a PDF, so that if you need some assistance and reviewing and that kind of thing, you can do that. So now I'm just going to open it up for questions and things that you may have related to the proposal part of the of this NOF. Any questions? Okay.
Question?
Yes, go right ahead.
I'm sorry, because I did hear that you said that we can send it to Greater Englewood. Is there a specific contact?
No, you can call the 773-651-2400. You can also send it to myself, which is THUGHES. Again, that's THUGHES at GECDC.org. And it'll come to my email, and I will share it with my other advisors so that we all review it, particularly with the financials. Want to make sure those numbers make sense, and then we can send that back to you with anything. Yes, Bruce.
How important is it to have images such as pictures of the facility, any architectural drawings, renderings? What is helpful beyond text and numbers that support a good proposal?
Yeah, visuals are very important. So if you have architectural drawings where you worked with an architect, that you can kind of be able to show the facility and the potential activity. Also, if you have what the building looks like on the outside, the facade, that kind of thing, all those things are important. When you're filling out the application, there will be a piece in there for you to attach or upload, so that you can put that information in. So as they're reviewing your proposal, they can visually see your location and where what you're doing. So definitely that's important. Thanks, Bruce.
All right, well, just give me a buzz, baby. Call me back when y'all get ready to come out.
All right, any other questions? So everybody's pretty clear. I'm gonna stop sharing. All right. Any other questions? All right. So you wanna kind of get this ready because the city has made the announcement and will be launching the application. And so you want to try to have this ready and close as possible. Again, I'd suggest that you go to the website at the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund website, because there is a guideline book there. There's more detailed information about the bonuses and the wealth bonuses. There are opportunities for you to kind of get additional dollars. One, if you live in the community where your business is, that you can get some bonuses. And also, if you're hiring within the community, that you're able to hire and then a year later get reimbursed. Okay, so all those things are things that could help as it relates to bonuses that you can get in addition to your project. So that's something to keep in mind and something to remember. Go ahead, Babette.
I love you, God loves you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Hi. I just wanted to ask, I wanted to say hello to everybody, that I love you, God loves you. And I'm interested in doing something for the youth. And I was wondering if it would be open to intergenerationally, okay, to help the youth. But I was wondering if there are any milestones or anything right now that would require or that could enhance something like that in terms of presentation.
Yeah, so if you're wanting to work with the youth, you need to be able to demonstrate again that within that corridor that there's some kind of economic cash flow that's helping, that even if you're working with the youth, that you're generating revenue. So, and I always use my example of one of the business owners that I was familiar with, had a restaurant, needed to fix it up, and was able to do that, you possibly using the dollars, but she added a component to her program. So not only restaurant, she was also supporting women that have been incarcerated, and she was teaching them culinary skill. So she had the training program where she was teaching them culinary skill, and as they advanced, then they worked in the restaurant. So that became like an apprenticeship or job for them, but the restaurant was open to the public to generate the revenue. So she was kind of doing a for-profit, nonprofit kind of activity to be able to support, but she needed help building up the infrastructure, the facade. She needed windows with this building. She needed tuck pointing, that kind of thing. She needed help with her electrical in her kitchen and all that. So those were some of the activities that she could put in the proposal so that
Okay.
she was not only helping
Sure.
communities and youth or whoever, but also she was able to grow her business.
Okay, one last question. Can you
Mhm.
add a second floor onto a building as part of your project to be able to expand to do those things, or it has to be just totally just gutting out and facades, etc.?
Well, it needs to be an existing business unless you're doing new construction. So I don't know
was
about
thinking about-
adding.
Okay, I
Go
was
ahead.
thinking about we call modifying a building to include a second floor. Would that consider adding?
Yeah, and the thing is, you're looking at then getting any kind of licenses and things like that
Okay, got you,
related
got you. I
to
got you.
building.
Okay,
Yeah,
might be a
so
little bit too much. Okay,
yeah, and well, with this is a small small
Right.
project proposal.
Mhm.
You
Okay.
can do the large one though, if you want to do the large one and fill
Mhm.
out a full-blown proposal, because you know your project's going to be more than 250 if you're adding onto it. So you would have to actually do a full proposal to be able to show the benefit that it would, adding to the facility would generate the revenue for that corridor.
Thank you so
Uh-huh.
much. Love y'all. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All righty. I see some familiar faces and people on there. So everybody's good? Everybody's clear? All righty.
Wonderful.
Go ahead, Babette.
And I just want that it's really wonderful for you to do this and the whole team, to make this accessible, this information right now. A lot of times we hear about stuff after the fact, but y'all are on top of it. And a special shout out to every member of your team, including Rhea. I know she's there somewhere, right?
Yeah, she's here.
Hi, Babette, I'm here.
All right. I love you all. God
All
bless you.
righty.
All right.
Sophia, did you have anything you wanted to add to what we shared on today, or are we good? Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
Any
I was hiding
additional
in the
things we
background.
need to add?
No, you, as always, do a superior job walking everyone through the application process. So, guys, listen to her. She has helped so many people work through that application, and really, if you listen to her advice and make sure that you do good your homework and do good project planning and put that all in your application, that is the surest way to be competitive. It is a competitive program. And we do have folks who apply several times before they're able to really get their planning done, or get enough knowledge about what it's going to take to get their application up and running to be successful. So we do welcome folks who maybe have tried once and weren't successful to try again. We will look sometimes to see how your application changes every time you apply. So if you keep submitting the same application over and over again, and we don't see any improvement in your project readiness, your shovel readiness, that won't be so great for you. But definitely, we appreciate and we just love supporting all of our neighborhood visionaries and entrepreneurs that, instead of sitting back and waiting for someone else to do the work, are kind of saying, I'm going to make a difference. So thank you guys all for being here, and for GECDC for being such a great coach and advisor to the community, and a partner to the city. So thank you.
Thanks, Sophia. Really appreciate that. So as we kind of close up for today, are there any other questions or any other thoughts? I know some of you, again, have applied for this before. And so I ask that you go and review your old proposal and try to look through that to see potentially why it, didn't kind of get over or reach that other heel that you need to meet. But you definitely want to take this opportunity again and apply for it read the guidelines that are on the website, because those guidelines are going to help you. So I suggest that you go to the website. I also suggest that you look at who has been awarded before. Look at your past awardees and also the ones that were just awarded. Kind of look at where they are, what they're doing, and that kind of thing, because that will give you some good ideas and concepts as well. All right, so we're all good. All right, okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Let's tell. All right, great. So we're gonna end this call. It is being recorded. As soon as we finish the recording, we will send it out to those that were on this call, but also we'll do kind of our regular email blast just in case somebody's missed it. And again, if you need to reach out to us at GECDC, you can shoot us an email. You can do thughes@gecdc.org, and then we'll make sure that we reach out to you, and if you need some advising support. Again, I appreciate you, and look forward to working with you guys, and good luck on your application. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
you.
Thanks, Bruce. See ya. All
you.
right.